The mythical Narcissus had, he believed, the highest standards. He was renowned as the most handsome man on earth. Even gods and goddesses wanted him, but he turned them all down. No one was perfect enough for Narcissus. Then, one day, he saw the perfect person. He was overjoyed. At last, he could find love. But this perfect vision was in a pool, gazing back at him. This perfect being wasn't coming out of the water. It stared longingly at him just as much as he stared longingly at it. But every time he stretched out his hand and touched the water to make contact with it, it vanished. Why was it so elusive? Can perfection never be attained? Narcissus was infinitely frustrated. He was condemned to gaze unrequitedly at this perfect person, but they could never embrace, never exchange a word. Was this the ultimate curse of the gods because Narcissus spurned them and everyone else? Narcissus was consumed by frustration. He felt that perfection was close enough to touch, within arm's reach, and yet he could never take hold of it. It always eluded him. Was there anything worse than to be right beside perfection but never to embrace it, never to attain it? Narcissus withered away and died. He never attained self-awareness. He never learned that the perfect person was himself, his own reflection in the water. Of course, he was hardly perfect if he didn't know that, if the truth was a stranger to him. His perfection was only skin deep, all surface, the shallowest perfection. Narcissus had no depths. He was the most superficial person of all. He existed only on the surface. The world today is full of narcissists, but they are nothing like the original. The original had a true self, but one that could not recognize itself. The new narcissists have a false self, which can believe in its own existence only when it sees itself lovingly reflected in the eyes of others. The original Narcissus needed no one and spurned everyone. Only his own reflection could satisfy him. The new narcissists need everyone and spurn no one. They can never see their own reflection except in others' eyes. They are real only to the extent that they see others looking at them. They are therefore attention addicts. They cannot live without attention. They pursue it every minute of their existence because they are nothing without it. They do not exist except as reflections, and that means they must be surrounded by people performing the role of mirrors. Look at social media. It is narcissism central. It's full of vacuous, hollow men and women desperate to be seen. The vacuum has come to life. Empty space has generated spectral creatures that demand to be seen, since if no one sees these virtual beings, then they dissolve back into nothingness. Are you one of those who spends your time gazing at Narcissus on YouTube and social media? Why do you bother? Are you as empty and lost as those you keep gazing at? Know thyself. Don't be enthralled to others. Don't let them cast a spell over you. Don't fall for the image. What is underneath is always a monster. It is always the portrait of Dorian Gray, the most grotesque truth of a person who goes around masked all the time, pretending to be something else. When Dorian Gray gazes at his monstrous portrait, the opposite of the perfect image of Narcissus, he understands that he can never be redeemed. He wishes to be absolved of his sins while refusing to believe that he did anything wrong. He wants others to see him as immaculate, perfect, shining, and so no one must ever see him as he truly is. The truth must be locked away in the psychological attic or cellar forever. A new narcissist is never interested in actual perfection. What they are interested in is getting others to see them as perfect, i.e., in seeing a perfect illusion while never seeing the hideous reality. Watch out for the devils that present themselves as angels. YouTube is groaning under their weight. Social media is turning the whole world into pathological narcissists.